Welcome my dear students to my English class. Today I am going to continue the previous lesson, Gentlemen of Rio and Medio. And so far we have studied nearly 7 to 8 paragraphs. Let me take you into all these paragraphs once so that we can brush up our memory. This is basically a story related to Don Anselmo. Don Anselmo had some land. It was a beautiful land. It had a very beautiful orchard. It's a place full of trees bearing fruits, and he wanted to sell that land. And the beauty was this land had a creek in between, and it was full of greenery. And in the middle of all these things was his ancestral house, which was old fashioned but still attractive. So who are the buyers? Buyers are Americans. So who negotiated this deal? Author Juan A. Sadillo is the author. He is the speaker in this lesson, and he mediated between the two. Why he mediated between the two is because Americans were new to this land, new people to this land. They did not know Spanish. And Don Anselmo was basically a native of Spain, or that Rio in Medio. He was not knowing English. So to negotiate between these two people, he acted as a middleman. He also acted as a translator. So let me deal with all the previous paragraphs. First paragraph tells us that it was an ancestral property of Don Anselmo. His predecessors, his family members were his great grandfathers were all cultivators and tillers, and he also followed the same kind of profession. And they describe his land. His land had a small creek, and his house was wretched but quaint, and there was a little creek running through the land. Second paragraph deals with his appearance on the day of the dealings. How he appeared, how he came. His hat, his old green torn coat, torn hand gloves, and he was carrying a walking stick, which was none other than a worn out umbrella. He had come with one of his family members who had eyes like that of a gazelle, a deer, right? And to author, he looked like Senator Catron. His coat looked like Senator Catron. Senator refers to their political leader, their member of the legislature. And third paragraph tells us that for author, Don Anselmo looked just like Charlie Chaplin. In one of the movies, Charlie Chaplin played the role of a janitor, caretaker, attender, you can say. So that day, Don Anselmo was looking just like Charlie Chaplin. He was resembling Charlie Chaplin. So that is the third paragraph. Fourth paragraph deals with the deal or signing of the deed or agreement. So the agreement was signed between the two parties, buyers and sellers, and the land was believed to be several acres, 8 acres. Don Anselmo believed that his land was only 8 acres, and Americans were ready to buy it, and they were ready to pay $1,200. But before purchase, this author sent a surveyor to that land to measure the land. Upon measuring the land, it was found out that it was not 8 acres, it was double the land, and the land stretched across the river also. And this was revealed to Don Anselmo in the meeting. And Americans also said that we are ready to buy the entire piece of land, 16 acres, for which we are ready to offer double the amount than what was already agreed. Because previously Don Anselmo was also not aware of it. And now Americans said that yes, it's okay, we would like to purchase the entire piece of land and we are ready to pay it in cash. And they brought the cash also, on the day of agreement. And then in the 5th paragraph, he says, Don Anselmo says, when the offer was made to him, when the author offered him the double amount, he said that he considered it as an insult to him. He stands and says that, don't talk to me like this. I do not expect you to talk to me like this. Why is that? Was there any abusive words? Whether Don Anselmo was scolded in the meeting? Whether anybody used abusive words against him? No. What was the matter then? According to Don Anselmo, he would accept that amount which was already agreed upon. Even if the land is 16 acres, even if it is 32 or 64 acres, he would not charge a single dollar extra. So when author made this offer, Don Anselmo said that it is an insult to me, because Don Anselmo was a man of principles. He was a man of words. He always kept up his promise. He was not so selfish. If there was any other person in the place of Don Anselmo, probably he would have happily agreed to the offer made on that day. But Don Anselmo was not selfish. He sold that land to Americans just because he realized that Americans were good people. It was his ancestral property. He would not sell it to someone, someone who comes on the way. So he understood that these Americans were good people. So he got ready to sell it. And now the deed was signed, the agreement was signed. Don Anselmo charged only $1,200 and went away with the cash by shaking hands with all of them, and the meeting ended there. After some time, Americans moved from there. They settled down in Rio and Medio, and they did some renovation work. They beautified the house. They made up the broken fence, replastered the house, and all the repair work was undertaken for their better stay. And things were going on very well. But soon they realized that they had some problem. What was that? Every day, many children of Rio and Medio would enter their property, overrun their property, they said, and they would come, they would make fences around the trees, and they would play. While playing, they would pluck the blossoms. Blossoms refers to flowers. There are many flowers, varieties of flowers in that place, and these children would pluck those flowers and play them. It is common. This was not liked by Americans. They wanted a quiet place, a place full of greenery, to settle down, and they did so here. But these children started disturbing them. But these Americans tried to convince them. But the problem was language problem, communication problem. Spanish people or the children of Rio and Medio did not understand, the language spoken by Americans, that is English. And when those children replied, Americans did not understand. So they thought of meeting the author, right? And they went to author's office with a complaint. Their complaint was, these children are overrunning their property, disturbing them, and all that. So let us see. I think I stopped after the 7th paragraph. Now I am going to deal with the 8th paragraph. 8th paragraph says, author speaks to us here. I sent a messenger up to the mountains for Don Anselmo. It took a week to arrange another meeting. When he arrived, he repeated his previous preliminary performance. So once again, the second meeting was held. Remember, the first meeting was for signing the agreement. You know how Don Anselmo came, his appearance and all that. Once again, second meeting was held in order to settle this complaint, solve this problem. And author sent a messenger for Don Anselmo, and it took a week. Don Anselmo was a man of patience. He would do everything very slowly and systematically. He did not rush out all of a sudden. It took nearly a week to come to that meeting. So within a week, another meeting was arranged. Meeting number 2 was arranged. When he arrived, when Don Anselmo arrived, arrive opposite depart, arrival opposite departure, arrival of the plane, departure of the plane, arrival, arrive, depart. Now verbs, arrival noun, departure also noun. So when he arrived, he repeated the previous preliminary performance. What is that preliminary performance? Preliminary refers to in the beginning. Performance refers to all that he did before the first meeting. He repeated the same. Taking off his coat, taking off his gloves, handing over all his belongings to his relative, and bowing his head in respect to them. All he did. He wore the same faded cutaway, carried the same stick, and was accompanied by the boy again. When Don Anselmo saw him after many weeks in that second meeting, this man hadn't changed. See, there is a point here. With $1,200 in his hands after the first meeting, this man could have purchased a posh coat, and he could have changed his appearance. But this man hasn't changed. That means he did not want that money. He was not that selfish. So he wore the same faded cutaway, means coat with a cut. Our shirts are also having some cuts made by tail. Cutaway, that is coat. Carried the same stick and accompanied by the boy again. Same thing happened in the second meeting. It was just like a retake in a movie. So he shook hands all round, sat down with the boy behind his chair, and talked about the weather. Just like the first meeting, the second meeting also started. And here also he talked, and he started talking about weather. Why in the first and second meeting they talked about weather? It is a common practice among all, even your elderly people at home, you must have heard, when they start a conversation, either person to person or over the phone, they would not go to the topic first. They would talk about rain, weather, what is the food cooked, and all these things. And then they come to the main matter. Right? That is called starting the conversation. While starting the lesson also, teachers will give some introductory remarks about the topic, right? Or they will revise the previous topic, and then only they will start that day's lesson. That is a usual practice. Here also, before talking, they discussed about weather, and then they came to the main matter. And finally, I broached the subject. Author says, finally, after talking all these things, I broached the subject. Broach is to raise the topic, start the topic. He started, Don Anselmo, about the ranch you sold to these people. They are good people. I want to be your good neighbors always. This meeting is about that ranch, that piece of land which you sold to these people. They are good people, Americans, and want to be your good neighbors always. When you sold to them, you signed a document, a deed, and in that deed, you agreed to several things. See, when a treaty is signed or agreement is signed, there are several conditions. One has to agree to that conditions. Our history students very well know about subsidiary alliance. Native king who signed subsidiary alliance had to fulfill so many conditions, and he just became a puppet in the hands of the British, losing all his independence. You know that subsidiary alliance. Similarly, in this agreement also, several conditions were there, and both the buyer and seller agreed to that condition. So the author is reminding Don Anselmo that in that deed or agreement, you signed all the conditions. And one thing was that they were to have the complete possession of the property. So among all these conditions, One condition was, after they purchase the land, they will become the sole owner, single owners of the land. Possession refers to ownership. It is the same. If you purchase a land tomorrow, entire land becomes yours after paying money. If you purchase a car tomorrow, entire car is yours after paying the money. Tomorrow, Honda or Maruti people cannot come to your house and say that 2 tires are ours, 2 tires are yours. They cannot say like that. It is entirely your property. So, now Don Anselmo, author is speaking, Don Anselmo, it seems that every day the children of the village, the children of the Rio Medio, overrun the orchard and spend most of their time there. So a small problem has arisen. Americans are telling me that the people, the small children in that neighborhood are overrunning the property and entering the property and they are disturbing. We would like to know if you, as the most respected man in the village, could not stop them from doing so in order that these people might enjoy their new home in more peace. So author said that being the most respected and elderly man of your family or this village, you should have stopped them. You know that they are coming every day. Even before Americans occupied that land, children of Rio Medio used to play there. It was their play area. But you should have told them not to come from tomorrow onwards when Americans purchased that property. But you have not told them anything and they have been coming and playing and now Americans are getting disturbed. This is the problem, said the author to Don Anselmo. Don Anselmo stood up. See, again they stood up. He stood up. In the first meeting also he stood up and made a remark that it was an insult to him. In the second meeting also same thing is being repeated. He stood up and he is about to make an important statement. What is that? We have all learned to love these Americans, he said, because they are good people and good neighbors. I sold them my property because I knew they were good people, but I did not sell them the trees in the orchard. Understand the statement made by Don Anselmo. He said, we have all learned to love these Americans. All the people in Rio Medio have welcomed these Americans wholeheartedly. Nobody is hating them. They are treating them just like their own people. So we love them because they are good people. They are not impolite, they are not very harsh, ill-mannered. These people are very good and they are our good neighbors also. I sold them my property because I knew they were good people. Just for that reason I sold. But see, the last statement has a contrast which brought heart attack to Americans. They were about to get a heart attack. What is that? But Don Anselmo says, I did not sell them the trees in the orchard. Yes, I sold that land. First it was 8 acres, then you said 16 acres, whatever the land be, yes, I sold them. But in my opinion, I sold only the land. I did not sell them the orchard in it. I did not sell them any trees in it. So trees are not sold, so children can come and play. So this was a kind of heart attack to America. It was like a shocking news and it is a very complex sentence, very difficult to understand. Property is sold, land belongs to Americans. Don Anselmo says that land belongs to Americans, but the trees on that land belong to someone else or they do not belong to Americans. How is that possible? See, you are having your own house. You have purchased or constructed long back. If somebody comes and says that entire house is yours, kitchen is mine, would you agree? No. You would just throw that man away from your house or push that man away from your house. Because when it is called your property, it is your property. Nobody can possess it. Just I gave you an example of a car. When you purchase a car, the entire car belongs to you. Tomorrow, its previous owner or the company which it produced cannot come to your house and say that all the speakers and music system belongs to us, only car belongs to you, take it away. Can they say that? No. Here the same problem was created by this agreement. Now according to Don Anselmo, trees don't belong to Americans, only that land belongs to Americans. This was bad, Don Anselmo, I pleaded. When one signs a deed and sells real property, one sells also everything that grows on land, and those trees, every one of them, are on the land and inside the boundaries of what you sold. So author tried to convince here, because he is the he negotiated the deal, So Americans expected that author has to solve the problem. So author is convincing Don Anselmo that in reality, when you sold a property, land and whatever is on the land, stream, then bushes, flowers, the house, well, lake, everything belongs to the owner. It's not that something belongs, something doesn't belong. There is no such thing. He is convincing Don Anselmo. Don Anselmo replies, paragraph number 11. Yes, I admit that. I accept that, he said. Admit is to accept here. He added, he continued, I am the oldest man in the village. Almost everyone there is my relative, and all the children of Rio and Medio are my sobrinos and nietos, my descendants. He says, I am the oldest man in the village, elderly person in this village, and all the people who are living in this place are my descendants, are my relatives in one way or the other. They are my sobrinos and nietos, again Spanish word. Sobrinos and nietos means nieces and nephews, either my brother's children or sister's children, like that. They are my relatives in one or the other way. And they are my descendants, they are my next generation. Every time a child has been born in Rio and Medio, since I took possession of this house, from my mother, I have planted a tree for that child. See, I inherited this property from my mother. She got that property from her parents. From her parents came to my mother, and my mother died. I became the owner of that property. Since that day, my life, what was his practice? See, it's a strange practice, but it is a good practice in the present context. This reminds me of Salumarada Timmaka. All of us have come across the great achievement of Salumarada Timmaka, who was awarded Padma Shri or Padma Vibhushan by the Honorable President of India. She is around 100 years now. Salumarada Timmaka. So just like that Salumarada Timmaka, this is Salumarada Don Anselmo. What was his practice? Whenever a child was born in that Rio and Medio, see, every year many children are born. Whenever a child is born in that Rio and Medio, he would just plant a tree, plant a sapling, a young tree, sapling, in the name of that child. So a child is born, one tree. Tomorrow or after 1 week, another child is born, another. In this way, he had grown an orchard, a group of trees. What kind of trees? Trees bearing different types of fruits, trees bearing different types of flowers and so on, which were not found elsewhere. It was a beautiful place. That's why Americans were attracted towards this property. But here Don Anselmo is revealing the reality. He says that since then, means 20, 30 years from ago, I started this practice. I was planting a tree in the name of every child when the child was born, he says. The trees in that orchard are not mine, Senor. They belong to the children of the Rio and Medio. Don Anselmo said, every tree in this orchard are not mine. Who do they belong to? Who is the owner? Children of Rio and Medio. This tree belongs to him, that tree belongs to someone else, another tree belongs to someone else. So everybody in that village is the owner of one or the other tree. Now that's why I told you it was a heart attack to Americans. So Senner, he says, Senner means sir. They belong to the children of Rio and Medio. Senner refers to, he is addressing the author as a sir. They belong to the children of Rio and Medio. Every person in the Rio and Medio born since railroad came to Santa Fe owns a tree in that orchard. He says, when he started planting, ever since the railroad came, ever since the railway track and railway started in this village, I planted it since then. From that year onwards, I planted the trees. Came to Santa Fe, owns a tree in that orchard. Santa Fe refers to their village, name of their village. Owns a tree in that village. So, I did not sell the trees because I could not. They are not mine. I did not sell the trees. I never referred that trees belong to Americans. I only said that the land belongs to Americans. Trees are not mine. How can I sell them? They belong to the children of Rio and Medio. So, there was nothing we could do. Author says, there was nothing, they could not do anything. We refers to the author and the Americans. We could not do anything to Don Anselmo. Legally, we owned the trees, but the old man had been so generous, refusing what amounted to a fortune for him. So, legally refers to according to law. Legally opposite illegal. So, agreement means you are signing something, so that becomes a legal paper. According to that agreement, Americans were the owners, but the old man had been so generous, old man was so open-handed, refusing what amounted to a fortune for him. He refused every offer, he put down every offer made by the Americans. Americans said that we are ready to pay you another amount for those trees. At least say that those trees do not belong to you. He said no. Only the land belongs to me. I have taken $1,200. That's all. And these trees belong to all the villagers of Rio and Medio. How to solve this problem? Now, actually, Americans can go to the court seeking justice. They will definitely get justice because justice is on their side. They have signed an agreement, and it is in black and white. It is in paper. It was not a verbal agreement. It was a written document. So they would get. But Americans, as the lesson says, were good people. They were, open-minded people. They did not want any trouble or any misunderstanding with their neighbors or the villagers of Rio and Medio. They thought something else. Anyway, they cannot leave, Rio and Medio and go back to America because they have already settled down there. Now they wanted to solve this problem. What was the remedy to this problem? How was it solved? It took most of the following winter to buy the trees individually from the descendants of Don Anselmo in the valley of Rio and Medio. What happened finally? There was only one. Actually, there are two options. One, going to court. Second is another one. Going to court, Americans did not want. So they took to second option. That is meeting each family of the Rio and Medio, going to them and purchasing one tree from them by paying them money. See, Americans lost a lot of money here. First they paid to the land, and the land was double. They got double land, but payment was $1,200 only. Again they had to spend for each tree. So it means every person in the village or every family in that Rio and Medio got some amount for that tree, and Americans paid that. Americans paid that, and it took them nearly a full season, several months to do that settlement. So finally, they paid all the descendants of Don Anselmo in order to claim their property. This is how we study the story of Don Anselmo. The author has rightly called him the gentleman of Rio in Medio. Gentleman refers to an open-minded person, a good-natured person, and Don Anselmo richly deserves to be called gentleman, because he did not ask double the amount first thing, and even after getting the amount he did not change himself. He came in the same appearance. He believed in simple living. He was a down to earth person, and he had planted trees in the name of every child in the village. Nowadays people do everything for themselves, everything for their family members, okay, who live in their house. But Don Anselmo was somebody who was not self-centered. He was selfless. He did not want anything extra, right? So he went on planting trees after trees and created an orchard over the years. Hundreds of trees were grown by him. At the end, we find that hundreds of trees were grown by Don Anselmo. That's why I gave you the reference of Salomar the Timmaka. See, if Timmaka would not have been known to the world had she not planted those many trees. So Salomar the Timmaka and this Don Anselmo stand on one platform with regard to helping others. See, we are able to eat sweet fruits of many trees today, whether it is coconut tree or mango tree, chiku, every kind of tree, but it was not planted by us. It was planted by our forefathers 1 or 2 generations ago. So we are able to get fruits. Here is a message that if you plant some trees, if you plant something, our next generation will be able to have such sweet fruits in their times. That is the lesson. So do something for yourself. There is no wrong in it. Doing something for yourself, yes, of course it has to be done. But also see that while doing something for yourself, also do something for others. When you do everything for yourself, at least do something for others. When you plant something for you, also plant something for others. That is a philosophy to be followed in everybody's life. That is taking care of not only our generation but also many more generations to come. We should leave some gifts or presents for the next generations. Otherwise, they will not be able to enjoy the beautiful fruits of the nature. Thank you very much. Hope you have understood the message of Rio in Medio. It's a beautiful lesson. Read it again and again and understand it thoroughly. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves.